Well, welcome back to the shed. Hope things are going well with you guys. Yeah, I thought I'd take the opportunity for it. Obviously it's a really nice day out there. It's quite hot, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a bit of printing. I sort of left the print alone for a little while because I was sick and tired of getting loads of little problems and issues that were coming up, and trying to fit it around work. You really need to dedicate some time to make sure you've got enough time to iron out all the little problems. One of the problems I was having was the warping of the prints. This one, for example, is just as an example print. Quite a nice print. I've done it on a glass bed, really nice. But as you can see, warping all over the shop. Not very good at all. Tried everything from levelling the bed to changing the nozzle to adjusting pretty much everything I could think of on there, and it came all the way down to the last thing I tried, which was temperature. My plate was too hot. I was sitting at about 70, 75, 80. Extruder was sitting at 210. Because I was used to printing with wood, I forgot what temperatures I used before. But then even the wood started to sort of bend up and warp. I would recommend check your temperature settings, and this is the perfect temperature settings I've got. I'll write them down for you. And if you can't see that, I'll put them on the screen above here, just here, so you can see what I use. It seems to work a treat. I mean, the quality of the prints are perfect now. I've just printed out a carriage for the Bowden. I'm going to try Bowden. A lot of people say there's not much difference, but I get sick and tired of even small prints taking so much time, and I understand from most of the guys I speak to online that a Bowden setup is a lot quicker. It gives you a lot quicker print speed. Also with this setup, I'm going to put a drag train on it, chain. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, you mustn't do that, it's a fire hazard and everything else. But what I intend to do is actually put one of these on, but I'm going to put the cable cover on it as well, inside it, and then feed the cables in between sort of the cable chain. I think that will work quite nicely, and I think that will work quite well. One of the other things I've been doing while I've been away, I'm sort of ready to go on the Bowden setup, and I'll talk about that in a second. One of the things I picked up that I haven't picked up for a long time is the ZBrush program. Fantastic program, which you know, when you use it once or twice, it's kind of addictive. It's like having a piece of plasticine in your hands, and you can manipulate it and do what you want with it. And the beauty is now they've integrated 3D printing with the ZBrush program. So I've done a little bit of fiddling around and see how I got on. I've done one in wood, which, you know, come out fairly well. It was my own design, just like a little orc or a warrior of some sort, you know, some sort of weird Lord of the Rings type character. And as I'm getting the hang of ZBrush again, as I say, I used to use it many years ago, and I haven't used it for so long. But it's got to that point now where I want to start picking it up again. And being as the 3D printer sits there, sometimes you don't know what to print. We all get to that stage. I thought I'd make a character and just print it off. It's like a Victorian Oliver Twist type character. That's all my own work. Can't really see the detail of his face that well. Let me try and focus the camera. Thoughts. Let's try again. Nah, can't focus it, sorry. But you have to take my word for it. It's pretty good. It's come out quite well. A couple of imperfections on the face here and there, but you can't really tell, so I can't get close. But it's come out like silk. It's so perfect. The actual print at the moment I'm getting is really good. So I'm still in two minds whether to go to the Bowden or not, because this is working beautifully. I also done a little alien fan shroud or whatever you call it for the front of the printer, just something novelty to print. It's on Thingiverse. I think it's quite smart actually. Yeah, it's just a little alien head. I think that's quite smart actually. It's quite good. Yeah, just G's it up a bit and makes the printer look a bit better than the usual standard sort of, you know, look of the printer. One of the things that I did in a previous video was to talk about the BL Touch. Now, I got to a certain point with the BL Touch before and I just thought, you know what, I haven't got time to look at this, and it was the most frustrating thing to set up. I've now sort of learnt my way around it and got the hang of it all, so once I get the building up and running, if I do go ahead and do it, I'm going to put the BL Touch on it as well. I've got an original BL Touch because I understand there's a few issues here and there with other sort of manufacturers, and I'm not saying they're not any good, but I went for the BL Touch because it seems that most of the online tutorials they mention the BL Touch, so you know, it seems silly to go elsewhere. One of the things I do, I'm not the best at soldering in the world, and a lot of people say, how do you extend your wires? Well, I'm okay with putting the JST connections on the end. I can fit all them quite easily, it's not a problem. I've got a nice little crimping tool that is just superb. I showed that in a previous video as well. They're easy to do. If anyone needs a hand fitting the JST connectors, just drop a comment and I'll talk you through it. I'll send you a little video on how I do it. But instead of soldering the wires, what I've tried to do is extend the wires by spinning the wires together, sort of, you know, knitting them together almost, you know, twisting them together and then putting a heat shrink on it. It seems to work absolutely perfect for extending your wire to however long you want it really. What I might do is stop the video there and just show you how to put two wires together without any soldering. Right, let me know what you think. Right, here goes. What I'm going to show you now is how I put two cables together without all the hassle of soldering or anything else. I'm not saying this is the safest solution or the best way to do it, but I mean, even if you're no good at soldering, what you can do, you can actually solder badly as long as you get a decent connection. What I mean by that is, if you aren't the neatest person in the world when you're soldering, don't worry too much about it, because you could solder these two cables together, put your heat shrink on it and go from there really. The way I do this, say for example you've got two cables, two wires. This is the 14 AWG wire. A lot of people use this in 3D printing, especially for the main power at the back of the heat bed. All you do, two cables, put these two together. Best you can. I'm going to do it as untidy as I can, just to show you how simple and straightforward it is. You twist these cables together. I wouldn't recommend this on the power bed or anything of a higher voltage, but for stuff like the fan and the sort of like Z-axis and stuff like that, it's not a bad little fix actually. It does the job. So as you can see, not a very neat job there at all. Push the heat shrink over. If they're called heat shrink or heat wrap, but as you can see, that's over there like that, and you're probably thinking, right, okay, that's all well and good, but it's loose. As you can see, not very good. The key to it is this little fella here, hot air gun. Try and move my arm out of the way and show you what happens. Brilliant piece of kit, absolutely superb. And all you do, literally heat it up and you'll see it. You'll notice the wire is gripping, the shrink is sticking all the way around the wire, and it's not a bad little fix. Just saves a lot of soldering. Personally, I probably would solder this inside, just as a safety precaution, and then put your two heat shrinks over the top, or one heat shrink rather, and there you go. couple of seconds, the job's done, and it's fairly stiff. Yeah, I can even pull it quite tight. It probably would pull if I really pulled it very, very tight, but you'd have to really go some to pull it apart. That works for me, but as I said, you're better off using it for things like the fan or something of very low power. I want to suggest putting this on your main part of your bed where your large JST connection goes, because maybe a bit dangerous due to it being fairly high voltage. That this, on the other hand, as an example, is a great fix for those people that want to extend their cables and can't. You can also get little crimps that you push on together and then you can pull off again, but this is just so quick and easy. Little box of heat wraps, probably I think I paid about £5 for it on Amazon. It works a treat, and I think the hot air nozzle was probably in the region of about £8. It works perfectly, and as you can see, it's a nice little fix. It works quite well. It's quite tight. Yeah, and that's about it really. What I might do actually is, in another video, I may put up a quick video on how to fit a JST connector to any of your printer wires or anything like that, and I think some people might get a bit of use out of that, because personally I couldn't stand doing it until I got one of them small tools like I showed on a previous video. This is the one you want. All the other connectors I couldn't get on with, I hated them. I was getting annoyed with it in the end because it was so fiddly. This one here, again available on Amazon, is brilliant. This isn't a sponsored video, as you may see from my subscriptions and my likes. It's just something I like to warn people about, to stop spending your money on some of the other crimping tools. This one is absolutely superb, and I'd recommend that to anyone. Right, thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and the next one will probably be a VHS one that me and Gary put up, or it'll be when the Bowden is set up and finished, and maybe a little bit on the BL Touch. So yeah, stay tuned, you know, and keep an eye on the channel, give us a couple of comments and likes, it goes a long way. Yeah, thanks for watching, have a good evening.